Hi there, I'm Pratima Scholl.
And I'm Jeff Scholl, and welcome back to A Path to Peace in Marriage. And again, we're talking today about the 7 spiritual covenants, and we're going to talk about spiritual covenants 5 and 6 together here.
Yep, so number 5, I think we've probably talked about a lot, so I'm just going to read it and see if we need to say anything or move on. Spiritual partners recognize that the partnership is always in the process of holistic growth, and therefore flexibility and commitment to truth is essential.
Yeah, I think we've covered this a lot already, so let's just move on to number 6.
Okay, so number 6 is spiritual partnerships seek to align themselves with the universal spirit for the purpose of spiritual evolution and emotional growth, leaving behind the old world model that existed primarily for survival and procreation. They know, I'm going to read in first party. I know that as I align myself with spirit, success and prosperity will follow. I choose to place my intention on developing my divine self for the purpose of my own growth of our relationship, and that of the global spiritual awakening.
So there's 2 points here that I kind of want to make. One is that that alignment with universal spirit is critical to our spiritual growth. And there is no one right way to do that. Some people do feel really connected to, if you call it universal spirit or God or Allah or Krishna or however you refer to that, that your higher power. But different people feel that connection differently. Some people do that through prayer. Some people do that through meditation. I have a friend that does Ironman triathlons or whatever, and he tells me that when he is running or swimming or bicycling, that he gets into this meditative space where he feels aligned with God. And running certainly doesn't produce that effect for me. If I was being chased by a bear, maybe, but that's the only way I could run that far. But that was a concept that I had never considered for these elite athletes, that they find that sort of meditative space and kind of and align themselves with God. It just never even occurred to me.
Yeah, and there is actually a chemical reaction that's happening to create that space, and that's what meditation is doing. And a lot of Eastern religions, which is what I can speak about, have a practice for meditation. So like Buddhists have that chant that they do, and then Hindus have the temple, and you go and you do the songs, but it really is about having a meditation practice that you practice daily, which I've not always done, like kind of off and on, but now really committed to. So I've taken on that 365 and 365. So I want to meditate 365 times in the next 365 days, or I think I'm on 6 weeks now. And it does make a difference. I wish it didn't, because, I could so easily talk myself out of it.
Sure.
But I don't know about Western religions, like what they're like. I know, like, prayer is big.
It is, but I wasn't really ever taught, and I was raised like fundamentalist Christian. I wasn't taught that I had a direct connection to God, at least certainly not the way that I understood it. And it wasn't so much where I felt like I had to go through another person, not like a priest or something, in order to be aligned with God. I was kind of taught that I wasn't worthy of having that sort of connection, that I had to go through Christ in order to get that, instead of understanding that I could have that alignment with Christ, or I could have that alignment with God, and then I could achieve that through meditation. I wasn't taught that. And so this, and it's part of what I talk about my spiritual journey in my book, but it was a peeling away of many different layers that helped me to kind of come to be where I am today. But I want to talk a little bit about the global spiritual awakening, because as we record these videos right now, there's a war going on in Ukraine, and it's very easy for us to sit in where we are and safe in our home and be talking about peace. And
Right.
people and I saw a quote on social media where somebody was talking about peace this week. One of my counterparts on Facebook, and somebody posted one word, and they said privilege, and that stuck with me. And I thought about, well, one, where that person is coming from is kind of a state. They're coming from their own state of fear and judgment, and I get that. And then the other thing is yeah, we are privileged to live in a country where we experience peace most of the time, but we have to wield that peace and realize that it is a tangible energy that we can affect the world with, because all of us are connected to a global consciousness, a collective consciousness. And if we allow media, whether it's social media or mainstream media, to rile us up and keep us angry and keep us stirred up and keep us pointing fingers at each other, or point fingers at Russia, or point fingers at whoever, that anger feeds all of this, right? So if we are going to achieve peace in our world, we must achieve peace individually. And for those of us that are privileged enough to live in a place where it is peaceful, it is our spiritual responsibility to send as much peace out into the world as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's a really good timing for that, and a reminder. And then the other piece of that is prayer. And we were just talking about you're using prayer more often to ask for what you want.
Yeah, because I didn't even make this connection really until just now, because I was brought up in a religion that taught me that I wasn't worthy, and really, but only through grace was I worthy, right? But the message that I just kept getting over and over was I wasn't worthy. But
Because you guys talk about sin
oh, I
a
know,
lot.
yeah, and I'll save that for another video.
Yeah, because I visited, right? We went back to your church for a Thanksgiving thing, and it was very different than what I received in my experiences at temple or even at churches that I've gone to.
Yeah, it's very fear laden and judgment laden, and so I grew up feeling guilty about everything that I did, and which is a very hard way to go through life. And so where was I going with that?
We're talking about prayer, but
yeah, so I didn't feel like I was worthy to ask for what it is that I wanted.
yeah,
And when I healed that part of myself, that I realized, oh, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am a child of God. It is my divine birthright to ask for what I want and expect that I will get it. When I healed that part of myself, and really more so this year than anything, is I'm asking for what I want and I'm getting it.
yeah.
I mean, and I used to wait until I had a crisis, almost life or death crisis, before I would break down and ask for help. And sometimes
Yes.
not even then. And now I'm asking for things. I'm asking when I get into a problem and I've done all that I can do, I ask for help. And sometimes I'm learning I don't have to wait until I'm at a dead end before I ask for help.
Yeah, I think it's a great lesson for me to take on this week too, because I don't actually pray a lot in that way. So that'll be something I'll report back on how that goes for me. All
Cool.
right, let's go to the next one.